Hey guys, it's Melody here, and if you're watching this video, I can assume that you are interested in starting your very own natural hair journey. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I began my natural journey and just some tips and tricks that you can try out if you're a little confused and really have absolutely no idea how to get your journey started. So first things first, let's get to the basics. There are two ways that you can start your natural hair journey. One way being to big chop, and big chop is just chopping all your damaged hair off, whether your damage is from heat damage, chemicals, dyes, relaxed hair, anything like that. Anything that caused your natural hair to change state would be considered damage. And when you do a big chop, you're just chopping all the damage off and starting new with the hair that's growing out of your hair. out of your head. And the second way to begin your natural hair journey is to transition. I am currently transitioning, and transitioning just means that you're going to let your natural hair grow out with your damage, and as your natural hair is growing out of your head, you're chopping off all of your damaged ends, and then eventually you'll chop off all your damaged ends, and then you'll be completely natural. So that's transitioning. And those are the two ways that you can begin your natural hair journey. I like to think that there are six or seven tips to beginning your natural hair journey. So, tip number one. Tip number one is for sure my least favorite tip. Is probably everybody's least favorite tip. But this one was pretty hard for me, and that was to limit my use of heat. Yes, I know, limiting use of heat, that sucks. But I have heat damage, and that's because I straighten my hair every single day, all the time. Sometimes I didn't use heat protectant spray, so my hair is severely damaged from heat. And in order to let your natural hair thrive and grow to be thick and full, you have to limit your use of heat, because nothing good comes from using heat when you want to have natural or healthy hair. Nothing good comes from using heat, and that's with any hair type. So yes, limiting your use of heat will definitely help your hair flourish and grow and be beautiful, strong, healthy, and full. Tip number two. Tip number two is kind of the actual beginning of starting your natural hair journey, and that is to start looking on YouTube to find different people who have the same type of hair as you or similar hair to you if you do know your natural hair pattern. Some people may be relaxed, or their damage is all the way up to their scalp, so they might not know what their natural hair pattern is. And in that case, you kind of just got to give your hair some time to grow out so that you can find out what your natural hair pattern is. But once you find those people on YouTube, you should start following them, subscribe to them, look at the products they use, look at the styles they do, and just start implementing those styles and things on yourself. Because usually, I'm not saying 100% of the time this works, but it's always a good start to see other people who have similar hair to you. Also, when you're finding people that have similar hair to you on YouTube, you should also look at the products that they're using, and that would be an awesome foundation or base for you to start product shopping for your hair when you go natural. A lot of people, most people, if you've never been natural your entire life, or you've been having perms or whatever, straightening your hair for your whole life, you don't necessarily know how to care for your natural hair. So if you find someone on YouTube who uses similar products to you, or who has similar hair to you, you can kind of think that maybe those products might do the same for your hair. So checking out those products, making a list, going to the hair store, and finding those products will benefit you greatly. And some may work, some may not work. It's all a guess and check, trial and error in this little natural hair world. But this will give you a good start, starting out with people who have the same hair as you. The next tip would be to build a regimen of your own that suits your hair perfectly. So when I say building a regimen that suits your hair for you, that means, in my personal opinion, I don't know what other people think, but I think that when you build your own regimen, it's finding one shampoo, one conditioner, one deep conditioner, one moisturizer, one oil, or a few oils to mix together, whatever, and a styling cream or something, styler for your hair that works perfectly, that your hair loves, that you love, makes you feel good, smells good, whatever the case may be. I think that building a regimen or a routine of your own with your own staple products will greatly benefit your hair, especially because I believe in sticking to things that work. Even though I'm not against trying new things, I actually love trying new things. But if you're trying new things every time you do your hair or every time you wash your hair, you're not really gonna see what things work well for you and what things don't, because you're mixing everything together. So if you do find like a great collection or group of products that work well for your hair, I think you should stick with it and keep doing that every week. Consistency is definitely key in this case. I'm not sure what step I'm on, but I'm gonna say step number 5. Tip number 5, whatever. So for tip number 5 is just for you to be inspired. Just like any hobby, career, anything that you may like to do, you want to be surrounded by positive people who share the same interests as you and that can get you involved and inspired. So whether that's being on Twitter or Instagram and following those people just so that you can see their hair or beauty, or most in this case hair, on your timeline on Instagram to keep you away from your flat iron, do whatever you have to do to make this happen. But be inspired and surround yourself with other people who feel the same way as you do about your hair. Also, with being inspired, you can find different styles to do with your hair. You can be inspired to try this new style that you never thought would work on your hair before, and then once you've seen someone with the same hair length as you try it, hey, it might work out perfectly, and now you have a new favorite style. Being inspired and following blogs, Twitters, Instagram, things like that will definitely help you keep your hands away from your flat iron and keep your eyes on the prize, which is healthy, long, beautiful, natural hair. And my final tip, whether it's 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10, who knows, is to be patient. I know everybody always says be patient, but patience for me was very hard when I first started, because I would see all the people that I followed on Instagram to keep me inspired, and their hair was all beautiful and long. My hair wasn't, and I wanted their beautiful long hair, and I wanted it now because I'm going through all this. I'm washing my hair, I'm doing deep conditioners every other week. I'm doing all this stuff. My hair should be this long, but it wasn't, obviously, and that's when I had to learn. I had no choice but to learn to be patient with this thing. And once you're patient, the results are like crazy. You would not expect how much your hair would grow because you're not really thinking about it. If you're enjoying the stage that your hair is at, just think about this. If you love a style that only really works on medium or short hair, imagine how, if you're not focused on the fact that you have medium and short hair, how when you do get to your long hair or whatever your goal may be, you may not be able to do your favorite style anymore, and that sucks. So if you're appreciating and loving the stage that your hair is in, you'll definitely feel more prized when you're growing to progress in different stages of your natural hair journey. But okay guys, thank you so much for watching. That's all that I have for you. Let me know if there are any questions that you may have. Maybe I left something out, or concerns, anything like that, because people have been talking to me on Instagram and direct messaging me, and it's making me feel pretty good, and I'm listening to everything everyone is saying, and I'm going to try to put out all the videos that you're requesting. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week in my next video. Bye!